Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Board Game Design Time. Today we're going to talk about theme versus mechanic. Where to start. We're all different types of game designers. Some of us like to start with the theme first, some of us like to start with mechanics first. Today we're going to talk about a few pros and cons of both. Starting with theme first. This is my favorite. I usually always start with theme. Usually I get a lot of flack from my game designer friends because I usually just get heavy into the theme. I write a story about it and everything without even having any game mechanics first. The first pro about designing with theme first is you generate a lot of excitement, especially when you're excited about your theme, and it actually draws people into your design more. If you want to bring them into a world that you generated with all this fantastical thematic characters and settings and worlds and everything like that, you start to get people excited right away. Now, if you could deliver on the actual game, that's another thing. Another pro is that your theme can oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes generate new mechanics. Now, I designed a horror RPG where I wanted the players, the actual characters, not really the players because it's really hard to make players scared, but the characters to have a heartbeat meter, their heart races. So I was like, oh, that'd be a cool mechanic. Now, how do I design a mechanic around the heartbeat? So that was just theme-generated mechanic right there, or an idea for mechanic. So the further you go along with your theme, the more mechanics possibly could unlock. Now, the first con is something that I fall into. I talk about myself when I talk about theme all the time, but I fall into this pitfall all the time. Is that you will get pig-headed and stubborn with your theme more than actually trying to fit correct mechanics to portray that theme. So you can get stuck in not wanting to add certain mechanics that really should be there in the first place. That could really railroad you away from making a good game. Also, the second con, I find this is, now we preach designing games for fun, but when you do get to a point to pitch to publishers and stuff, it's not a really good idea to get super attached to your theme, because in a second they could change it, which, hey, might not be that bad. Sometimes their ideas are better. Alright, those are some quick pros and cons of designing a theme first. Now, the pros of designing a game with mechanics first is mechanics are the hardest part of designing a game. If you have good mechanics, then you have a good game usually. You could just throw a theme in there later. If you want to pitch it to a publisher, they usually look at the mechanics first and the theme second. I mean, they'll correlate them together and see if the theme actually works with the mechanic. But they usually look at the mechanics first, and then they'll just insert their own theme, or they have a theme ready for a new game that was already designed with great mechanics. Some cons for designing a game with mechanics first is it's tough to generate a lot of buzz when you just say, oh, I got this awesome card tapping mechanic that you're just like, okay. I mean, normal game designers will find that really intriguing if you have a new mechanic that you want to try out, but the normal public and public playtests and stuff, if you want to go to a con and show off your game, or to any other friends or family's house and show off a game, you definitely want to draw them in with a theme, and not a boring theme, especially if they're not used to playing more Euro games, I guess. They are known to have kind of boring themes. And there's another con, I guess, for designing a game with mechanics first is if you're really deep in the mechanics, the game can often feel a little bit soulless, where it's just mechanics going, grinding gears, with no real story to back it up and no theme to really give it this otherworldly game that you really want to play. So those are just a few pros and cons of designing with theme or mechanic first. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter as long as you're designing games, right? As long as you're inspired by something. Something has to inspire you to design a game in the first place, be it theme or mechanic. But yeah. If you want to let us know if you start your game with theme usually, or if you start your game with mechanic usually, please comment in the comment section below. And yeah, looking forward to hear what you have to write. See what you have to write. hear what you have to say, see what you have to say. Anyway, goodbye.